I'm at the Rubicon power station. If you can hear me over the rushing water. So, yeah, that worked well. So I'm heading up to a place called Rubicon Falls along the old tramway. So I'm in for a fairly long walk today. It's about 20 something k's. It's not too bad, except for this first bit. I've got a 600 metre climb, and I'll spin the camera around in a minute and show you. But yeah, look, the day promises to be damp. It's misty, a bit drizzly at the moment, but hopefully it gets a little bit better as the sun comes up. All right, I'll swing the camera around and we'll get walking, hey? So I'm just leaving the power station, or the bottom of the power station. This is an old hydro station. And the first, I don't know, kilometre, I got to climb up this beside this penstock, and it's steep, real steep. And I'll be heading up into the cloud, as you can see. And not only is it steep today too, but it's wet and muddy and slippery as well. So the first bit of the walk is just going to be a grunt, but I'll see how we go when we get to the top. So I parked down just past the bottom of the power station. The road's closed down there at that big shed at the bottom of the penstock. And now I'm walking this old railway beside the penstock. If you have a look, got these things. I reckon they're brakes. Some kind of brakes for the cars that used to come down here. Well, not the cars, but the carriages, if you like. And yeah, I'm walking up into that, and that looks steep, real steep. Okay, so probably a bit over halfway up this penstock. It's time to jettison some clothes now. I'm starting to work. I'm certainly warmed up. Had my first deer. Oh, it's about 20 to 8, by the way, in case anyone's wondering about the time. So it's fairly early. There's a chance, I'm hoping, some of this misty, cloudy, drizzly rain will burn off later on. And we shall see. So, believe it or not, the climb's eased off a little bit now. And my heart's back in my chest, so I can probably talk a little bit as I climb. I don't know what I am, probably 3/4 of the way up this steep bit. No doubt there's a choice on this walk. You can do the steep bit at the start and go up it, or you can do it after you've walked 20 k's and come down it. Being a fat old bastard, I'd prefer to grunt my way up earlier on than test out my knees and ankles on the descent later on in the day. But everyone's got their kind of own preferences on whether they like going up or down, I suppose. So yeah, it's easy to reverse this bit of the walk. Or it's easy. You could actually miss this bit of the walk if you wanted to, but then I think you'd miss the tramway bit at the top, which is meant to be pretty nice. It would be possible to get to the falls just walking along Big River Road, Rubicon River Road, I think it is actually. But yeah, that'd be pretty dull if you ask me, walking that both ways. All right, I might put the camera away again, and hopefully the next time I turn it on, I might be at the top of this climb. We shall see, I suppose. Okay, well, I'm warmed up for the day. Climb's over. I've reached the what I guess you'd call the top station for the penstock. I'm guessing there's a aqueduct or somewhere nearby. I'll swing the camera around and we'll have a bit of a look around there. It's interesting in a kind of old industrial way. All right, yeah, hopefully won't look at my ugly mug again until we get back to the ute later on. Take it easy. Okay, so this is the top of that tramway that I was just waffling on about. You have to excuse the rain if it gets on the lens. There's a bit of misty rain coming down. I'm thinking this is a winch system actually, and that's what they run the cables over, not a brake. But that's all a feral fact. I could be totally wrong. Looks like they've left an old carriage up here. Yeah, there's your winch shed there, and there's your winch cable on the ground there. Okay. Not sure. This is the top of the penstock, I guess. Yeah. Obviously, they're not generating any hydro at the moment. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if it's still a working power station or not. It looks, I mean, there's workers around every now and then, so possibly it is. But yeah, not really sure. They might be working on something else, and this just might be their base. They were down the bottom. Incidentally, I think I mentioned it, Rubicon River Road looks like it's a seasonal closure, so it's closed at the moment at the power station at the bottom. So I parked just outside the gate. All right, I think the go is now I'm going to follow this water race for a fair while. So yeah, we'll see what the day brings there. I'm thinking there's some trestle bridges at stages, and a few other points of interest. But as you can see, the climbing is definitely eased off now. So this is pretty sweet in a wet and misty kind of a way. So I've come from that power station and I started following that track on the left, but I think the go is to follow the old tramway, because that track on the left, that fire track, seems to drop a fair way away from the water racing spots. So we'll see how this tramway goes. So far so good. I've walked 3 metres. Okay, so I'm obviously still trekking along this tramway, old water race. I'm back in full wets now. It's a bit chilly up the top here. Now I've stopped climbing. There's a little bit of rain, but nothing to worry about really. I've mainly got the Gore-Tex on just to keep warm. Nothing really to whinge about as far as the walking goes. This is pretty nice. As long as I don't trip over one of the old railway tracks anyway, or fall in the water race. That'd be a bit suboptimal. I'm thinking if the cloud does clear a bit, there'll be some views down into that valley across there. But at the moment, the cloud clearing is looking a little dubious and unlikely. This looks interesting. This is slippery. A little bit more steampunk engineering. I love this kind of stuff. So my tramway walk continues. Just passing this old sawmill. Kind of a bit restored. There's some information about I think it's the Black Saturday 1939 bushfires. Quite a few people died up here in the forest. In more current news, the rain's getting a little bit heavier. It's still nothing much to worry about. I'm not sure what it's doing for the video. So since I left that, across that first trestle bridge back at that, near that old sawmill, the water race has had water in it, which is a vast improvement. The railway lines now have gone. I'm walking the old tramway, but the actual steel rails themselves are mostly gone. So far, the only wildlife I've seen are some sambar deer and some lyrebirds, but everything has proved too elusive to video. I can hear a lot of lyrebirds, and I've got the odd deer, I don't know what you call barking or grunting at me. So judging by these electrical cabinets, I'm thinking they still use this to generate power occasionally. because they certainly weren't using stainless steel electrical cabinets up here in the 1940s. I wouldn't imagine. All right, got another trestle bridge coming up. This is third or fourth one of these little constructions. I might check out that little side trip up there on the left on the way back down. I've got to retrace this bit of the walk anyway. Jesus, it's slippery. I don't know if that green kind of slimy moss is coming up on the video. So this gully here, I'm just about to cross, was actually the first gully that I've crossed since I've been on the following the tramway, that I've actually not been able to go over the bridges, which is slightly unusual. Normally these old tramways, most of the bridges have been burnt and are decrepit. So yeah, this walk's been notable for the amount of actual bridges, these old bridges that I could actually cross. This one's out of the equation, obviously. Pretty little gully, actually. Okay, well, if you can hear me over the rushing water, I think this little waterfall up here is my turnaround point. And this is Rubicon Falls. So my rails are back too. That's very pretty. So you can hear me over the water. It's actually a picnic, brand new by the look of it, picnic shelter. Up above the falls. It's not signposted. There is a track on the left as you walk up towards the falls, and yeah, you can get out of the rain here for a bit if it's raining, or out of the sun if it's too hot. Alright, I'm over 11 k's into my day. I'm going to start heading back down to the ute. What a beautiful walk it's been so far though. So that's where you turn off the water race just before the falls to get up to the picnic area, by the way, in the distance down there. Oh, when I say picnic area, well, two kind of pack tables under a shelter, but it's the shelter that matters, and I think. Okay, well, I've started my journey back down to the ute. That's the Rubicon River that I'm walking pretty much the whole way down beside now. I'm just retracing the top section of the old water race tramway section back towards the where that sawmill was, and then I'll pick up I think it's Rubicon River Road and follow that back down to the ute. That's the theory anyway. We'll see how it goes. So I'm not sure if it's coming up. I've lost it now in the naked eye, but there's some well, there it is. There's some decent sized trout in this stream. This one's kind of, there he goes. I'm not sure if that's even coming up on the video, but he's under this little snag now at the moment. And now they're swimming in a deeper gutter, he can't see them. But yeah, who would have thought there'd be trout in the water race? They're just there, looking at me. What's he up to? So I'm just getting back at the old sawmill area. Well, sawmill power station. The thing here on the right's a power station, and around the corner down there is the old sawmill that we're going to get to in a minute. The rain's got a little bit heavier at times on my walk back, so there's a bit of a shelter at this old sawmill around here. I think I might stop for a bit of a break, have something to eat, warm up a little bit. It's not very often I walk all day in thermals and Gore-Tex as well. I have been today. This is the old sawmill coming up, so I'll turn the camera on and get out of this rain for a little while. So I've been retracing my outward route. It's a little bit further from here. This is where I leave the outward route, and I drop down and follow. I think it's the Rubicon River Road back to the ute. That's it down there. How I get onto it, I'm not entirely sure yet. Or maybe. I could probably go through there. Oh, it's locked. I might see if I can get on down here somewhere. Alright. I'll catch up with you when there's something to see. Okay. It's time to leave this tramway and pick up that road. The only thing is, there's going to be a short, nasty section to get onto it. This is probably the best bit I've found where some people are going through. There's a few blackberries. Anyway, I'm going to and drop down here. I'm not going to video this. I'm going to look like an absolute tool if there's another track 100 metres down, but on my map it's just kind of showing the spot, so I'm going to drop down here. It looks doable. Okay, safely down that little slope. Obviously people had come through before doing what I've done. So now I'm on this road. I'll follow that all the way back down to the ute. So this avoids that climb up or the descent down to Penstock, which I did first thing this morning. So in theory, the road should be a lot gentler and a lot easier to get down. But time will tell how that pans out, eh? This rain's getting a little bit more insistent now, unfortunately. That's where I was. That's where I stopped for lunch, out of the shelter over there. Out of the rain in the shelter over there a little while ago. I reckon this track here I could have probably picked up off the tramway a little bit further along and doubled back. But that little descent down was only, I don't know, 10 metres. It wasn't bad. Oh, I'm going to put the camera away. Things are getting a bit damp again. Okay, so I'm still dropping down Rubicon River Road. So yeah, obviously I noticed it was closed down near the power station when I came in. Obviously it is a seasonal closure. So in theory it should open on Cup weekend, this road, which means it's probably better walking it now before it does open. I always reckon anyway, unless you like sharing it with trail bikes and four-wheel drives. Little hint though, if you do walk after it opens, come midweek, you probably won't have too many people around, I wouldn't have thought. It's not all rainbows and unicorns in my walking world. Every now and then I find myself walking in these kind of conditions. This rain hasn't stopped all day. It's only light, but it's enough to get everything pretty damp. So that's the Rubicon River. You can hear rushing in that valley beside me, obviously. This is Rubicon River Road. So far, for the most part, I've only got glimpses of the actual river down there. That may change when I get a bit closer to the bottom. So I'm not the sharpest tack in the pack. I've just had a look at the map and Rubicon Falls is down here somewhere a little bit further on the left. That waterfall up at the dam up the top there, I think that's just a little bit more steampunk engineering with no name. Although it was a pretty waterfall. We'll see if we actually can see Rubicon Falls. So this is Rubicon Falls Dam. That's a no-go zone down there, so I won't go down. Let's see what we can see down at the falls. They're a little bit further downstream. So latest falls update is I've gone past them, so I think it was just below that dam in that no-go area, but I'm thinking it's more of a cascade like this. I don't know, whatever. The ones up the top were the most impressive ones I've seen so far anyway. That looks more like the falls, doesn't it? So not quite where my map said, but I reckon I've found them. That's actually quite impressive. Things are a little informal up here. It's actually marked in a different spot on my map than it actually is. So I'm pretty well down, back to the car now. So it's been a nice walk, that's for sure. So yeah, this is my last few metres on Rubicon River Road, and that is the Rubicon River there. And I can just see the power station shed at the bottom of that penstock I climbed at the start of the day through the trees there. So I'm going to turn the camera off now and I'll sign off in a few minutes. Okay, I'm just getting back to the car. That was a fairly solid walk. That was 23 k's-ish. About 1,000 metres climbing according to All Trails. We'll see what that settles down with once it runs it through the software. It might reduce those figures a bit, but yeah, still a solid day out. I really don't understand why I haven't done that walk before. That was a beautiful walk. The weather was a little bit suboptimal, as you can see. I think I was a bit optimistic with the sunglasses, but anyway. It's all on tracks, or old tramways, which make for great walking. And then you come back along Rubicon River Road, and I thought it was going to be pretty shit, to be honest with you, but the road's closed for starters, so you can't get up there. And the road is just a beautiful little descent through the forest with the river beside you. So yeah, those cars you can see in the distance, there's a AGL kind of, looks like a workshop or something here. So if you come during the week, there might be some workers around. So they seem like good blokes. I had a chat to them, but yeah, just to respect their privacy a little bit. It's kind of one of those walks. It's a mix of state forests, I think, and there's a bit of AGL stuff floating around the joint. So yeah, just be aware of that. All right, I'm going to jump in and dry off a bit. I'll catch up with you next time.